NamRA Kachenu, NamRA yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA yetu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of NamRA Kachenu, where the focus are on tax, customs and excise matters. My name is Elise Dentlinger and I'm honored to be in your company for the next half an hour or so. In recent developments, the NamRA Commissioner engages staff members. NamRA ends the year in colour. All that and more coming to you in a while. Stay tuned. NamRA Commissioner engaged the staff members recently. The open dialogue provided an opportunity for staff to share their insights, ask questions, and discuss ways to enhance teamwork and service delivery. NamRA Stars wrapped up the year with vibrant and colourful year-end functions across the country. Staff members in various locations had events themed around a vibrant summer festival. Here is how it went.
There's no more wait, no more wait, now we are done. There's no more waiting, no more wait, no more wait, now we are done. There's no more waiting. Nation to all nation, one spirit celebration. All nation to all nation, one spirit celebration.
After the break, we will be joined by NamRA Commissioner Sam SHIVUTE. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and we are now joined by NamRA Commissioner Sam SHIVUTE. Commissioner, a warm welcome to NamRA Kachenu. We are honored to have you with us here today.
Thank you very much, Elise. A very good morning to you and to all the listeners. I'm very, very happy and humbled to be here in NamRA Kachenu studio. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Commissioner, as we reflect, it's now going into your 5th year since you have joined NamRA as the Commissioner. Can you share with us your journey and your achievements so far?
Thank you very much. I will reflect on the journey, but the achievement is not my achievement. It's a collective achievement of NamRA stars. It's a collective achievement for NamRA staff, management, and all heads of department, the board and political principal and other stakeholders, because without that, we cannot talk about NamRA success. But yes, I started in September 2020. And I was then tasked with this responsibility to ensure the establishment or operationalization of Namibia Revenue Agency. By that time, NamRA had only one employee, and I was working with a task team that is made up of officials from Ministry of Finance and also some officials from the Prime Minister's office. And with that, we also needed then to have a change management committee based on, made up of volunteers from the Customs and Excise Department and also from Inland Revenue Department from the Ministry of Finance. And now with those team now and the board helping me to ensure that NamRA is duly launched, we then needed to come up with a vision, which vision must be inspiring, it must be bold, and that's how we came up with a vision that we aspire to be a world-class revenue agency, serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian. Now, why vision. It's important for one, when you wake up in the morning, to know why are you going to work for? And it was that vision that inspired us. Eventually, with that vision, then we then needed to work on the launch plan, the launch implementation plan. Initially, I remember the colleagues and also the IMF, the decision was that we needed about 12 months for us to be able to launch NamRA. And now I reflected and I thought staying here for 12 months without having tax law power, that was just not going to work. So we resolved that we need to make this happen within 6 months. And that is how we then resolved that the launch should be on the 7th of April, 2021. But before the launch, we then started with the recruitment process. And we also then ensured that the inaugural strategic plan is developed, because you cannot launch after which you then start developing a strategic plan. Now, having our vision and also having our vision, having the strategic plan, having our mission, and then also we also agreed, we proposed some values to the board, which values were also approved. And with then by the 7th of April 2021, I was very happy to witness the launch of Namibia Revenue Agency by His Excellency, the late Dr. Hage G. Geinkop. So that then happened, but for us going forward then, we were very clear to focus on 4 strategic themes. We needed to ensure that we focus at people, we focus on systems, we focus on processes, and also organizational culture. Those are 4 themes or pillars that we needed to ensure that we get it right. With people, we committed to ensure that we get the right people in the right position. We get people based on competency, and that's why we needed also to ensure that everyone is interviewed. With system, it has been our commitment to ensure that our systems are upgraded, upgraded to such an extent that they can be comparable to the best system in the world. And of course, with processes, we needed then to make sure that we develop the relevant policies, the relevant strategies and procedures for us to be able to function, but also with a change management committee that we established as well. And this change management committee was based on volunteers. And we needed that because in as much as we were committed to build Namibia Revenue Agency, you also have people within the system, those who have been within the 2 departments, Customs and Excise and IRD, Inland Revenue Department, who are also resisting the change as well. There have been times that sometimes we used to spend more than 10 to 12 hours with the union. So with that, we are very focused. We have our vision, we have our mission, we have our values. The center of our value is the value of integrity, diversity. We wanted NamRA. When you see NamRA, you see a good representation of Namibia, of Namibia. Everyone should be represented. Everyone should be able to feel part of NamRA. We needed to have a value of fairness, so that which we do, because fairness is one of the most important value or principle within the taxation. We needed to have the value of efficiency and also agility as well, because the environment in which we operate now, we need to be able to adapt to new technology and embrace and leverage the technology and so on. So I was very happy that at least we had guiding principles. You have the vision, we have our legal mandate, we have our strategic plan with 7 strategic objectives. Then with that, with the commitment then to ensure that we focus on people, we focus on systems, we focus on processes and organizational culture, we're then able to start running. And with that, I'm very happy to report that 4 years down the line, within a period of 3 years, we're already in a position to have recruited about more than 1,441 staff. Then with regard to the system, our system continued to be functional, even though I have to say that a lot of work still have to be done with regard to our systems. Then with regard to processes, we have developed more than 37 policies and many strategies and procedures. So all the colleagues that we got on board, and I'm very, very happy. My strategy was always, when we recruit the heads of department, they have to be better than the commissioner in one way or the other. They need to be expert. And I'm very happy because we have always have the divine and also acknowledge the divine purpose that we are serving. And we have allowed the Almighty God to be giving us that divine guidance and so on. And as a result of that, we were able to recruit a team, which team was working very hard to make things happen. And when we look at what we have achieved in the 4 years' time, it's something that I think the future generation, they will look at it and see a very great, inspiring case study on leadership.
That's really inspiring, Commissioner. So NamRA recently has reviewed the strategic plan for 2021 to 2026 this year. What adjustments has been made to ensure sufficient and effective revenue collection and compliance by taxpayers and traders?
Yeah. You see, within NamRA, we do believe in the concept of continuous improvement. And when you have a strategic plan as well, you need to continuously adapt, you need to continuously reflect and determine whether you are where you're supposed to be, and then you make some improvement. With our initial strategic plan, for example, the initial strategic plan was a 3-year plan, because we really felt that this thing of having a 5-year plan, the world is moving very fast, and so for you must be able to adapt, and therefore you don't want to be planning for 5 years. In 3 years, you must be able to change and come up with new strategy and so on. But we also then noted that the Public Enterprise Governing Act, it requires that the strategic plan of public enterprise must be 5 years. So we needed to be compliant with that. That is number one. What we have also noted as well is that the strategic plan of any tax administration must be based on the TADAT 9 principle, what they call performance outcome areas, the 9 performance outcome areas of TADAT. TADAT is the Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool. And once your strategic plan is based on the TADAT principle or performance outcome areas, then your strategic plan will then be considered to be a world-class strategic plan. Apart from that as well, in our new strategic plan, we also wanted to ensure that our leadership model, because in between there as well, since last year and this year, we have then developed the NamRA leadership model. And this leadership model also needed then to be embedded within our strategic plan. So some of the changes on the strategic objective within the strategic plan, most of them remain as it is, but we needed to add. For example, we had a strategic outcome or a strategic objective of maximize revenue collection, but we never had one to minimize, because there's one thing to optimize or to improve revenue collection. But if there are some leakages and loopholes that you are not closing, then you are not minimizing, then it does not make any sense. And that's why we also then added another strategic objective, which is to minimize revenue leakages, because there have just been a lot of revenue leakages. You may have heard about fraud within the income tax, especially income tax fraud, which we have done very well, where we have collected up to now up to 111 million that we have collected from those who have defrauded the state. And the potential amount that have been defrauded from the state is almost close to 900 million Namibian dollars. So we needed to have a strategy focusing on minimizing revenue leakages. Then, of course, we also needed to have another one that is focusing on enhancing cultural transformation, because for us to become world-class revenue agencies serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian, we need to change the way we think. We need to change the way we do business. We need to change the way we show up. There are a number of things that we need from a cultural perspective: the way we show up, the way we behave, the way we carry ourselves, the way we deal with stakeholders. And then, of course, also we needed also to make sure that we have a leadership model that must be also within our strategic plan, and that leadership model dictate how NamRA stars. So NamRA employees, we do refer them now to as NamRA stars, and because we think we are star, we provide lights and salt and so on, because we capacitate the state to deliver on its developmental agenda. So the star gives lights, and as a result of that, then in that leadership model that we have developed, it should guide us how we should behave, how we should carry ourselves, how should we engage with our stakeholder, how should we work on ourselves. But at the center of our leadership model is people. I have been unapologetic in telling the Namibian public that the greatest asset that NamRA has is our staff. And therefore, my staff, our staff come number one. And we need to do everything to make sure that we have created a conducive environment for them, that they are engaged and they are happy. And when they are engaged and they are happy, they will be productive. And when they are productive, they will then be in a position to provide world-class custom service to the client, to the taxpayer, to the stakeholder that we engage with them. So again, I don't want to come here and tell stories and say that clients, taxpayer are number one. They are number two. Number one is the staff, but we have an obligation to make sure that these staff are happy, they are engaged, so that when they are happy and engaged and productive, they then give world-class service. What is the use you having your clients and your customers and your taxpayer as number one, but they are not getting a world-class service? So at the end of the day, we put at the center of our leadership model our greatest asset, which is NamRA Star. Within that leadership model as well, we also have a divine purpose. We do know that the work that we do is not the work of men. It's not the work of a specific individual. We don't serve individuals. We're serving the state. But of course, we have also accepted at NamRA that the work that we are doing is a divine purpose. God wants us to do this work to make sure that an unemployed mother or father, son or daughter can still go and study medication, to make sure that a Namibian who have never worked or have never paid tax should still be able to get medical treatment, should still be able to be transported, just like my late mother. Never worked for government, but when she got sick, when she was diagnosed with cancer, she was transported from Olunkono village, first to Ananjokwe, and from Ananjokwe to Windhoek at Central Hospital. And at Central Hospital, on taxpayers' money, she was treated there for about a month, and later on taken back to Ananjokwe, to Andangwa, but that was taxpayers' money. And this is the things that we want to say. That's why we want a situation to ensure that the state is capacitated to deliver on its developmental agenda. This work that we do is very transformative. This work that we do is not only about collecting revenue. No, it's capacitating the state to deliver on its developmental agenda, to transform our country, to transform our society, to make sure that at the end of the day, all Namibians are able to enjoy the benefits of that which is collected by Namibia Revenue Agency.
That is quite the truth that you are telling the Commissioner. So I know that a lot of taxpayers are relieved because this strategic plan had made adjustments. And one of the key adjustments that they made was the returning of the amnesty program, which has been extended until the 31st of October 2026. And with that being extended, is there any plans that were put into place as to maximize revenue collection and also encourage the compliance of taxpayers and traders?
Yes, definitely. For the next 2 years, our new strategy going forward, we are now going to have a team led by a very senior officials at the management level, who is going to be focusing on the provision of excellent service to those who have to fulfill their obligation as far as the tax amnesty is concerned. In the past, what was happening, we were then communicating through different media platforms, our own WhatsApp and social media platform, and through the media, and encouraging people to come and settle their tax debt, especially their capital, then the interest and the penalty are waived. So the good news is that, and we need to be, the Namibian taxpayer, they need to express their appreciation to the government of the Republic of Namibia, to the political leadership, and also to the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprise for really listening to their plea and extending this tax amnesty. And it was also made clear that this is going to be the last. But the good thing is that we have noted that at the end of the tax amnesty, you still have taxpayers who are owing close to 16 billion Namibian dollars. It's a lot of money. And therefore, and we have also noted that with the previous one, some people waited until the end for them to come and settle their tax debt. This time around, we are going to have a team that is going to work with those taxpayers who are owing on a daily basis. The taxpayer then need to also to understand that the tax debt or settling or paying your tax debt is not an option. It's not a favor that you are doing to the state. It's a compulsory. And if one look as well, we have been very considerate. We have not even taken any action. No one's property or whatever have even been confiscated, even though the law provides that as a result of not able to settle there. But what we want to encourage now is that if you owe the state tax debt, you have to enter into a payment arrangement. If you have challenges and you are not able to fulfill because of one reason or the other, you communicate in writing with the office. But it's not going to be a situation whereby you know you owe the debt and it's just like it's business as usual. So there's going to be a team that is going to be on those cases to make sure that how many people are owing, how many payment arrangements that we are having. Because if we have, let's say, let's say 50,000 taxpayer owing, we cannot afford to have 10,000 payment arrangement. Everyone have to make payment arrangement because, again, like we are saying, it's not a favor and an option to pay tax debt. So there's going to be a team that is going to focus, and we will try to encourage voluntary compliance. And we do believe that more revenue will be collected as a result of that. But the Namibian people also need to understand that the more revenue that Namibia revenue is able to mobilize, the good for Namibia, because the revenue that we collect does not come to NamRA's bank account. It goes straight to the state account. That is the money that the state used to pay for the social grants for our elderly and also for the orphan and those who cannot support ourselves. So that is the money that the government used to provide for things like drought relief and so on. That is the money that is the state used to ensure that we are provided with security from the Namibian police, and that our borders and integral security of Namibia is provided for by the Namibian Defense Force. Just imagine, I always tell people, just imagine a situation whereby anyone can just come to your house and take whatever you have worked for. And when you call and you report to the police will tell you that we don't have patrol, we don't have docket, there's nothing we can do. I have heard people saying, oh, I don't eat peace and stability. And I always tell them that I had an opportunity to work in a very conflict environment. When East Timor was under fire, I was one of the first 7 police officers from this country to go and serve in the service of peace in East Timor. And I have seen, many people have never lived in an environment where the only people with power in that specific jurisdiction or country are those with guns. Anybody else, it doesn't matter. They banned the deeds office, and from there they decide that they can choose any house that they want to take and say, this is my house from today. Every time I go to Kigali, Rwanda, I never leave without visiting the Kigali genocide memorial site. I make it a point to visit there and make myself understand what had happened there. In actual fact, when you go into that genocide memorial site, you will also find the genocide committed against the Herero people and the Nama. It's also depicted there in a better way that you can see it anywhere else. And all those things happen when your state is not strong to be able to protect its citizens. That's why strengthening domestic resource mobilization is very critical. Taxation is not only about collecting revenue. It's about ensuring that there's democracy. It's more about ensuring that there's security, there's peace, there's stability. Because without those, you cannot talk about you can't talk about development. You cannot talk about economic growth. You cannot talk about foreign direct investment. You cannot talk about democracy that sometimes we take for granted. And therefore, if you want strong democracy, you must make sure that you strengthen your tax administration. And therefore, I want to appeal to all Namibians to make sure that an institution like Namibia Revenue Agency, when you talk about having strong institutions, we need to protect those institutions that can help us to achieve our national developmental plans.
Commissioner, very well said. I think that is a very well explanatory that you have just given to our taxpayers. Now, to come back to our NamRA stars, you have mentioned them. What is it's crucial to be in leadership, but what are the leadership going to do to ensure, what specifically they are going to do to ensure the well-being and the overall health of their NamRA stars so that they can be successful within the organization and also to ensure NamRA's success?
Our greatest asset are the NamRA stars. And therefore, I continue making this appeal to all my heads of department, and I think we are all aligned, that we are going to do everything possible to ensure that the work environment of our NamRA stars, of our employees, is very conducive. We want to ensure that our employees are the most engaged employees, not only in Namibia, but in Africa, if not in the world. We want to make sure that they are engaged by their supervisor, they are engaged by their managers, they are engaged by the heads of department, they are engaged by the commissioner. And that engagement is just not a way of engaging for us to be able to tick off and say that we have engaged our staff. We want to listen to issues that are affecting our employees, but also when we listen to those issues, the issue that we are able to address, it must be addressed as well. There are other issues sometimes that you need to address and you may need a budgetary provision. You're not going to have sufficient budget every time, but that which we can do within our power, we need to be able to make sure that our matters are addressed. We want to address our matters internally so that our staff do not need to have any reason to be dependent on an external person to represent them as far as their well-being is concerned. We will need to strengthen our wellness, employee wellness division, and also support so that we can have more support internally. Our wellness colleagues are doing a very good job, but I still see a need for the department or the division to be strengthened further so that we can even have people with a psychology or psychiatric experience here so that they can help our staff. We need to be big on ensuring that the mental wellness of our staff is well taken care of. And with that as well, we also need to encourage our colleagues as well to work on themselves, to develop a deep sense of self-awareness. NamRA will be able to provide leadership developmental training and training here and there. But of course, no institution, especially when you have more than 1,400 staff that will be able to train each and every one within a short period of time. And therefore, we would also encourage our colleagues as well to ensure that they also work on themselves. For example, there are many training programs that you will find, be it at the TADAT, be it on the CLIck platform, WCO. Some of those programs are not even paid. There is no cost. The only cost involved is your time and investment. And we are encouraging, like, for example, next year, I've already told the members of management committee that next year, June, we expect everyone in NamRA to have done TADAT, to be TADAT trained by June. But I also expect everyone also, apart from doing TADAT, because TADAT gives you a great overview and understanding of domestic tax, whilst the courses like valuation, classification, and rules of origin give you a very good foundational understanding of custom and excise department. Those core departments, if you understand TADAT and valuation, classification, and the rules of origin, you will then have a better understanding of this institution called NamRA, and you will be able to contribute much better. You may have also noted that we are very big in our leadership model. We have one of the principles there is accountability, where we hold each other accountable, be it on the mandate that we have to carry out, or be it on our performance contracts or agreement. But also we also need to hold ourselves accountable in developing ourselves. Nobody can develop you better than yourself. So people need also to invest in themselves. That's why we have also made a provision to say that if a NamRA employee, for example, get a scholarship, and mind you, there are many scholarships offered by the likes of Japan, WCO, and so on. We just need to be on lookout. Initially, the first policy required that 50% of the salary will be paid. We even increased out now that to 70%. But apart from that as well, more than 6 of our heads of department have been exposed to the International Executive Development Program. It's a program co-facilitated by the Wits Business School and also London Business School as well, where they get exposed to this wonderful global leadership training. The colleagues at management level as well, they've been exposed. More than 20 of them have been trained on the WCO Middle Management Leadership Program. So we want to be big on leadership management. We want to be big on ensuring that our staff are engaged and we create a happy environment. We want to be happy not just by saying we are happy, but happy in the sense of really being happy to want to be associated with this institution that is on her way, that is generating toward becoming a world-class revenue agency. But again, great stuff are really going to continue coming for Namibia Revenue Agency stars, NamRA stars. And some of the good news, including the working hour and sport participation, will be announced early next year as well. This year, the team did very well in Lesotho. I'm very great about their performance in Oshakati, the public enterprise game. And watch us next year. We will be participating in the revenue administration games in Zimbabwe. We will be participating in the public enterprise game. And when we participate, we will be present and we will show up and people will see the NamRA that they have never seen before.
So in all honesty, we can say the NamRA stars are in for great opportunities.
Oh yes, they are in for great opportunity and we want them to have fun. We want them to party hard because they also work very hard because numbers don't lie. Since the establishment of NamRA, you asked earlier on about the journey. Since the establishment of NamRA, Namibia Revenue Agency have exceeded revenue target every year for the past 3 years. And this 4th year as well, it will be no exception. I just looked at the number today. I shared the monthly revenue performance report with the Minister of Finance. And with 4 months to go, we have already achieved 71%. So we are committed to exceed the revenue target on an annual basis. But again, our focus is not only about revenue collection. It's also about improving service delivery, and that is one area that we still have a lot of work to do. But because the NamRA staff, they work so hard for the numbers that are always reported, we also want them to enjoy, we want them to have fun, we want them to sing, to dance, and so that at the end of the day, everyone wants to be associated with Namibia Revenue Agency.
You have touched on the vision for NamRA, the future. Can you engage our taxpayers a bit more on what lies ahead as we are in the final days of 2024? What is the vision for the future of NamRA coming next year?
Yes, coming next year, our real focus is to improve service delivery. We're looking forward to improve our service delivery. That's why we have even established a function on service delivery and customer experience. We have tried to bring on board experienced officials or experts with regard to customer experience. But we are not going to stop there. We'll continue strengthening the team. We'll continue working with our developmental partners. We are very lucky to have many developmental partners. I think at the end I will mention some of them. But what the taxpayer and our clients must know is that we have a lot to do, and we are truly committed to make sure that there is improved service delivery. We want them to have the customer experience that they have never received before. We want them to be properly trained on the usage of ITAS. We want to encourage them to be registered on ITAS so that at the end of the day, we do not want any taxpayer to come to Namibia Revenue Agency. One thing as well, which we have also noted in the past, everyone who have a credit refund was required to be audited and so on. We're not going to do that going forward. Our audits are going to be risk-based. Our audits are going to be risk-based. We are going to work very hard to make sure that all the glitches or challenges that are currently being experienced by our systems, be it SCUDA or ITAS, they are attended to, they are upgraded so that those systems can be world-class and comparable with the best system that you can find in the developed world. We will continue engaging with our taxpayers, with our stakeholders, and I think next year we are even going to step up our stakeholder engagement so that we hear the challenges firsthand from our clients and we will address them accordingly. So our clients, they must just know that even though we continue receiving a lot of positive report with regard to the performance and the improvement within NamRA, inside we do know that there's a lot of work to be done. Maybe we have only achieved about 20% of what we want to achieve, and therefore they must just hold hand with us and we work together, because a very efficient and effective Namibia Revenue Agency, that would just mean great customer experience to our taxpayer and clients.
Commissioner, as we're nearing the end of 2024, can you kindly reflect on the achievements and highlights that 2024 brought along?
Yeah, thank you, Elise. Reflecting on the achievement, and again, like I indicated, that there are very many, but these are collective achievement. But the first one that I want to touch on is really the relationship or the conducive environment within our work environment. We conducted employees engagement survey that was done by an independent consultant, and our employee engagement score was 76%, and that was for the first attempt. We were told that in many cases, company initially, when they do that engagement first, they will score at 50. They will then have strategy to improve to bring it up to 70. But our average one was 76. But also just to note that our employees, they feel they are engaged, they are happy with the leadership, even though we know that we still have a lot of work to do. That was a great achievement for us. That's number one. Number two, we managed, just since we started, we enjoy one of the best relationship between the board, between the minister, the board, and the CEO, the commissioner, and the CEO with the management and the staff. So you don't find that in many other institutions, and I have been around, I've been in public service for about 29 years, and I have served also in board and so on. But you don't find that a lot, where the relationship between the minister, the board, the CEO, the management, everything is just flowing, and they are all just working together, holding hands for the same objective of the institution and so on. You don't find that a lot, and we have achieved that. You can Google, you can look it on digital footprint and so on, and you see whether you can find any. They have never been, and we just continue having this wonderful relationship, which relationship we believe we can just continue improving. That's another one. Then you have the third one, because our core mandate is really revenue collection or strengthening domestic resource mobilization. Like I've indicated, from year number 1 of NamRA up to now, we have been consistently exceeding the revenue target. That's a great achievement, because without the revenue target, we will not be able to capacitate the state to deliver on its developmental agenda. But even already in 2024, with 4 months to go, we have already achieved 71% of the target, and that is magnificent. And that money that revenue does not come by accident. You have men and women in Navy with a touch of orange who are working day and night to make sure that we achieve that. There have been a lot of colleagues who have put in administrative effort for us to be able to mobilize or to collect that revenue. Then the fourth achievement, for the first time, by the 30th of September 2024, we were able to submit, to deliver our annual report and audited financials. As I'm talking to the Namibian public now and my colleagues at NamRA, as far as governance is concerned, we are 100% compliant with regard to our annual report and audited financials. So inspired by one of our principles in our leadership model of accountability, we account, and with that we have also demonstrated to our shareholder and to our political principle, to the government and the Minister of Finance, as to how we spend the funds that were allocated to us as well. So that was number 4. Number 5, we have also, by the end of September, submitted a revised strategic plan which is also part of a requirement from a governance perspective from PEGA. We have submitted our revised strategic plan approved by the board, and that is really, really great. Then number 5, we were also entrusted with one of the big project of establishing one-stop border post between Mamuno and Trans-Kalahari border post. And we coordinated this project together with, we were the lead agents working together with all other border agencies. And by September already we were ready to launch this project. It's only that our political principles have been very busy with election campaign. But you go now to Mamuno Trans-Kalahari border post and see what has been done there. But it doesn't just end there. As a result of that great achievement, a decision have also been made that for all other infrastructural development and project at the border post, Namibia Revenue Agency will be the lead agents, meaning that the funds will be allocated to Namibia Revenue Agency, because we have demonstrated our capability in terms of project management, but also knowing and having a way of working very well together with other border agencies as well. Then, of course, we have also successfully launched 2 systems within the custom space. That is the e-tariff system, and also the electronic advanced luring system as well. Meaning now that there used to be a very big book when you want to get the tariff or to determine as to how much one will need to pay for bringing a specific commodity. All those information is now online. You can get it on your phone, on your computer. You don't need to call or come to NamRA. Either you want an advanced luring, you can just request it and you get it. Or maybe if you want just to check as to, for this specific good that I want to bring about, what will be the valuation, how much am I likely to pay, you can get that information online. You don't need to come here. Yes, so there have been a lot of things. At Namibia Revenue Agency, we don't work for awards. We also do not seek approval of validation. We are very clear on the divine purpose that we are serving. When we do what we do, we don't do what we do because we want to be given awards or to be appreciated, because the work that we do is very fulfilling, it's very transformational. It's a work that some of us can even do even when you are not paid. But truth be told, for an institution to receive within a period of 12 months, 7 awards, within a period of 12 months, 7 awards. Which are those awards? I will mention some. An award for leadership from ATAF last year in Cape Town. An award for turnaround strategy by Namibia Business Premier. A Diamond of the Month from NDTC. Then a leadership award by the UK Parliament and Africa Achievers Award. Then Public Enterprise CEO Sportsmanship Award. Then the African Association of Students as well, and awards on leadership and our commitment to serve Africa. Then, of course, the IPM 2024 CEO Award. From July, we are chairing the Commissioner General Commissioners General, SACU Commissioner General Forum. And then, of course, what happened last week with the election of the leadership of African Tax Administration Forum being honored to and voted and elected to be the chairperson. I'm talking about this award because these awards are not for an individual, are not for Sam or the commissioner. It's as a result of what NamRA have done. And I also want the people of the world to check. There is a publication called ATO, Africa Tax Outlook, produced by ATAF, independently by expert. And since 2022 publication up to now, the country in this continent to collect more tax, or whose tax ratio to GDP is higher than the others, is Namibia. Since 2022. Tax ratio to GDP, there was a time that we used to be number 2 or number 3. Since 2022, you have Namibia, you have Seychelles, then you have South Africa. It's a very humbling, and all this is not as a result of us. But despite, then of course, the total revenue collected from fraudulent refund, we're talking about more than 111 million. Nothing like that has been done in terms of collecting from those who have stolen from the state, have done over the past 30 years. But now that record, we have it. So there have been a lot that has been done, but there's still a lot to be done, because even now, December, while people are going on holiday now, we are working toward ensuring the stabilization of our system. There is no holiday for us early December until late Christmas, because we need to be working towards stabilizing our systems. We need to continue preparing and get ready for 2025, because we do know that service delivery, customer experience, we have a lot to do so that our taxpayer and our clients can smile. So again, in short, that is just some of the highlights, but truth be told, if we are to list all the achievement, including all those interception of drugs, people wanting to bring drugs here to destroy our citizen, the interception, even last week at Alliam's Frey, when you read in the newspaper, people saying authority intercepted drugs to be smuggled, that's NamRA. Of course, working together with the Namibian police, but that is just some of the cases. And the cases and the achievements, they are just too many.
I believe congratulations are in order for both your excellent leadership in NamRA as well as our NamRA stars that has performed so well. Like you say, we are unable to just mention everything that have happened, all the achievements. Now, in your final conclusion, as we conclude this conversation, could you kindly convey your last words of encouragement to our taxpayers, traders, and stakeholders?
Yeah, thank you, Elise. Let me first start to address our stakeholders, our taxpayers, and just to indicate again that in our new revised strategic plan, we put more emphasis on stakeholder engagement and taxpayer education and awareness. And the reason why we did that is because we hold our taxpayers, our client, in high esteem. We know that our existence is for us to be of service to them. We want to serve them to the best of our ability. We understand with our mandate of mobilizing revenue, with our mandate of strengthening domestic resource mobilization, we are doing that for the benefit of the Namibian people and the future generation. Like I have indicated before, our mandate is to really capacitate the state to deliver on its developmental agenda. Our mandate is to make sure that our state is capacitated for it to be able to provide goods and services that state are required to supply or to provide to the citizen as part of the social contract. I want our citizen, I want our taxpayers, our clients to understand that if a state is not well capacitated, it can become a weaker state. When you have a weaker state can become a failed state. No human being in his right mind would want ever to live in a weaker state. No business or investors would want to do business in a weaker state. And therefore, I would want to express our heartfelt appreciation to all our clients, to all our stakeholders, to all our taxpayers for their collaborative effort, for their cooperation. Even though we're saying that paying tax is not an option, it's not a choice, it's legal, it's compulsory, it's required by the law, we want to thank them for continuing to commit to voluntary compliance. I want to thank them for holding hand for us to move into the same direction as we develop Namibia together. I want them to know that we can only serve in the best interest of Namibian people. If someone is not happy with a decision that has been taken by NamRA, they must also understand that we have structures in place like the objection unit, objection and appeal unit. If you are not happy with an assessment, you object. And if you object and you are not happy with a commissioner's decision, you can still have an opportunity to go to an appeal tribunal, which is also run by independent advocate and lawyers. And if you are not happy there as well, then you can then go to court. And the objection and appeal unit, including also the tribunal as well, all those you pay no money. You don't even need to waste your money with lawyers. You can follow that processes, and we have seen decision being changed. So we want to thank them, and also just to really wish them also happy holidays. And also they must drive safe. They must take some time off to rest and be with their family and their loved one. Coming back, turning to the NamRA Star, and when I speak and address NamRA Star, I do this with a lot of emotions, because without NamRA Stars, there can be no NamRA. Without NamRA Stars and their commitment and dedication, we cannot talk about this consistent exceeding of revenue target. But it's not only about the revenue target that they are exceeding that I have to express my appreciation. It's also the culture that we are building, the way we show up, the investment that they make in making sure that they are well dressed in navy with a touch of orange. Many people even think that maybe NamRA does buy us uniform. You say, no, we buy this navy and a touch of orange out of our pocket, and we make sure that we look proper, tailor-made, and when we show up, we are very, very big on brand. And for that, I'm very grateful to the NamRA Star, because we did not even need to have a policy, but we seems to be enjoying and very happy with how we show up, not only in Namibia, even at international fora. That is how we show up. So I want to thank my colleagues for their commitment, for their dedication, for the beautiful culture that we are building, for the faith and trust that they have shown in the leadership, for working together, and also for consistently working, serving the divine purpose. And just for them to know that from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the board, on behalf of top management, we really want to express our heartfelt appreciation to the great result and work that they have achieved. And I wish them happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a very, very happy 2025. As we prepare to take time off, there will be others who will still be working, and I hope they will also have an opportunity to take time off. And those who will be able to be off, please make some time to reflect, make some time to spend time with friends, with family and loved one. But do make time as well to spend some time on your own and reflect and energize and prepare for the next year. Our financial year end is not yet over, because our financial year is up to March 2025. So we still have 4 months to make sure that we make up for the existing percentage that we are required for us to ensure that we exceed our revenue target. But I just want to indicate that we are very, very happy. We are very, very grateful. And 2025 is even going to be much better. It's going to be bigger than 2024. We must hold hands as we move in the same direction and serve the Namibian public and serve the Namibian taxpayer and serve our beautiful country with passion. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for joining us today, taking time out of your busy schedule. And we also wish you all the best for your future still in NamRA.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you.
And that was Commissioner Sam SHIVUTE. We will be right back after this.
In the previous episode, we asked, what are the criteria for importation of goods? Here's the answer. The goods should not have undergone any manufacturing process while abroad. The goods should retain their essential character, and they should clearly bear the mark as they were initially exported. The question for this episode is, what strategic objectives or pillars were added to the NamRA strategic plan? Kindly email your answer to NamRA Kachenu at namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 27th of December 2024. We will announce the winner in the next episode.
And with that, we conclude this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We trust that the information shared has been both valuable and insightful. Join us again in 2 weeks for the latest updates. Until then, stay informed, stay compliant. Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025 to you, our valuable viewers, and goodbye.